This is the 2025 Multi-Event Temporary or MET License Renewal Training for the Peoria City County Health Department. This training is designed for people who are renewing their existing MET license. So you have to have already had a MET license in previous years. If this is the first time that you are trying to get approval for a MET license, this is not the course that you need. There will be a schedule of the initial training for the MET license available sometime this spring. So please keep checking our website, which is www.pcchd.org, or our Facebook page, which is at Peoria County EH, for more information about that training schedule in particular. This is a completely virtual training that is due to popular request. We had several of our MET vendors request a online training that you could take at your own pace. So this is what we came up with. As a reminder, all people in charge have to individually sign up and take this course. So you should really have more than one person in charge of your stand. And each person needs to take that post-test at the end in order to receive their training certificate. So you can watch this course as a group, just as long as every single person individually signs up and takes that post-test at the end. Some exciting news that we have is that we will be moving back to our old location on Sheridan Road. It's a brand new building, and our first day of operations there will be January 22nd, 2025. So anytime before January 22nd, we will still be at the Highway Department located out on Plank Road. But after January 22nd, we will be back on Sheridan Road. When you take this virtual training, you'll receive a certificate at the end. So in order to do that, first you're going to finish watching this training video. You're going to click on the link in the video description to go to the post-test. Complete the post-test with an 80% or better, and make sure that you include your name, your business name, and your email address in the form. If you pass, your training certificate will be emailed to you. If you don't pass, you'll also get an email saying that you didn't pass, and you're more than welcome to take this training class and that post-test as many times as necessary. So some general info about the MET license. This allows vendors with previous experience conducting temporary events the freedom to do an unlimited number of 1 to 3 day events per year for one set fee. So the reason that most of you probably became a MET vendor in the first place is that you are getting more than 12 temporary food event permits from us every year. And we understood that that got very expensive on your end. On our end, we were also inspecting pretty much the same setup with the same issues every single time. And so it was sort of a waste of our time as well, doing that many inspections for you every season. So we decided to make this one license where you get inspected monthly when you're in operation, and it really does allow you the freedom to go out and do as many of those temporary food events, as long as they're 1 to 3 day events, as you want. You also have to have access to a licensed commissary. You have to have a person in charge or more than one person in charge. The people in charge also have to have their certified food protection manager certificate. All other employees have to have their food handler training. You also have to remain in good standing with us in order to continue getting this license. This is a license that we created, and you'll only find it in Peoria County. And so if you are not following the rules of this license, we will not allow you to continue getting this license, and you'll have to go back to getting the 1 to 3 day licenses for every single event. Again, our temporary event license rules do apply to this license and must be followed at all times. Our fees for this license, if your commissary is in county and you're only doing packaged foods, you don't have any on-site preparation at all, it is $325 per year. If you're doing those packaged foods and your commissary is out of county, it is $400 per year. Most people do on-site preparation, and if your commissary is in Peoria County, your fee is $650 per year, which is equal to about 12 temporary food event licenses per year. If your commissary is out of county and you're doing those on-site preparation foods, your license fee is $800 per year, and that is equal to about 15 temporary food licenses every single year. So you can see that if you are doing more than those temporary food license numbers, 12 and 15 per year, you really are saving money by getting this license. We also have not ever raised these fees. So these are the same fees that we started this license with. And so there has been no increase in those fees since I think 2017, 2018. So how do you go about renewing this license? Well, first of all licenses expire on December 31st every single year. And we will mail you an application to renew your license sometime in December. So you should receive that in the mail pretty soon. Or if you're watching this video sometime at the end of December or in January or even in the spring, you will have already received that paperwork. The application to renew your license is a one-page application with a checklist of items that you have to submit in addition to that application. Your application, supporting documentation, and your license fee have to be submitted to the health department at least 15 business days, so that's about 3 weeks, before your anticipated 2025 opening date. This is what the application looks like. It should be the same one that you saw last year if you renewed last year as well. So this is what you will see in the mail from us. You are required to submit supporting documentation along with your signed and dated application for renewal. Again, you have to also submit that renewal fee. You have to include a layout or menu for your stand if you've made changes. So if, like, let's say last year you started off as an ice cream stand and this year you want to have ice cream and hot dogs. That is a change in menu, and it'll also be a change in the equipment that you have. So we just want to know about those changes. So you would be required to then submit your layout and your new menu to us as well. If you've made no changes, you don't have to submit this item to us. We also need copies of all of your certified food managers for the people in charge. If you have a pre-packaged license, you are exempt from doing this. We also need your itinerary and operating schedule as you know it. So many of you operate at the Riverfront Farmers Market. So as of right now, you can pretty much say every Saturday during the Riverfront Farmers Market, I will be there. So you would put that on your initial itinerary that you submit to us, along with any other dates that you know that you will be in operation in 2025. If you don't own your own commissary, we would also need a updated commissary agreement from you, saying that you are using somebody else's licensed facility to prep your foods, store anything that you need to store, get your water, dump your wastewater, that sort of thing. And we will need to see proof that all of the people in charge have completed this course. So we actually do have an Excel file of everyone who's completed it. So that's something that we are easily able to look up in our office. If you remember, you have a binder. It looks exactly like this picture. It could be a different color, but it'll have a multi-event temporary license documentation sticker on the front of it. Your first year in operation, we gave you this binder. Now, it's been a few years since we started handing these out, so you may have lost your binder. It may be in pretty rough shape by now. So we just ask that you replace those binders. We literally bought these at the Dollar Tree, so they're fairly inexpensive to replace. We want to make sure that you are bringing your binder with you to your events. And the really important part about these binders is that it houses all of the important information that we need to see from you during your inspections. So you are responsible for updating your own binder. We will send you your new license and your new training certificates, and it's your responsibility to put those in this binder or to have them on site with you when we do an inspection. You also want to take the opportunity while you're putting your new license and your training certificates in there to make sure that your certified food manager certificates and food handlers are up to date. As a reminder, certified food managers expire every 5 years and food handlers expire every 3. So it's important that you go through your binders and you take those courses if you have already expired, or know if you are expiring soon or within the next year that you have to sign up and register for new courses. If you need additional copies of anything that was in your binder, so we have a copy of the rules in there, we've got some logs that you can use, and that sort of thing in there. If you need more copies of any of that, you can go on our website, which is pcchd.org, and under Environmental Health, Food Protection Program, Food Forms and Applications, there is a section specifically for temporary food events and the multi-event temporary license. And you are able to print off anything that you need to refresh your binder from that location. So we do have some common violations that we're seeing. And this has not changed. This has not changed in any of the years of us issuing this license now. They're the same issues that we're seeing year after year. And these common issues have usually nothing to do with the food safety. So that's great that you guys are doing so well with your food safety and really protecting your customers from getting ill. However, it's the administrative and paperwork side that we are pretty continually seeing issues with. And by far the most common issue that we see is with your itineraries. So you have to make sure that you are updating your itineraries as you are adding in events. So if you are submitting that itinerary to us with your renewal paperwork, whatever is not included on that initial itinerary, you have to submit to us later on. We do ask that you submit these to us as far in advance as possible, but no less than 24 hours before the event. We understand that people may call you last minute and ask you to be at an event, and that's completely fine. Just please let us know as soon as possible that you are doing that event. We do have an official form that you can submit your itinerary on. However, that is not a requirement. You can just email it to us. Our email is eh@peoriacounty.org. And failure to submit your itineraries to us may remove you in good standing. So in future years, we may say, I'm sorry, you cannot get this license anymore because you have not submitted your itineraries to us. So please do this as soon as you possibly can. We actually sit down usually the first week of the month and we schedule your inspection for the month in our own internal calendar. And so if you could submit before like the first of the month, everything for the next month, that would actually be super helpful to us. What we really don't want to do is spend a lot of time and our staff's time on Facebook or Googling to try and find when your next event is because you haven't submitted anything to us. And if you were getting emails from somebody in our office saying, hey, we don't have an updated itinerary for you, that's starting to be a problem at that point if we're having to kind of hunt you down for those itineraries. It would also be helpful if you're done for the season, if you could also let us know that. So let's say you know that October is your last event and you're not going to have anything in November or December. If you let us know that, that would be great. And then we're not contacting you every single month to see if you're doing another event. We also want to make sure that you are sending the itineraries to the appropriate location. And that location is very specifically eh@peoriacounty.org. Do not submit these to individual employees. So let's say you're just really comfortable with Justin. Do not just send Justin your itinerary every month. Justin is not assigned to do the scheduling every single month, and he may be gone for an extended period of time or on vacation, and he's not going to see the email from you. Or unfortunately, last year we had people sending itineraries to myself, and I was on maternity leave for 3 months. And so that just sits in somebody's inbox for that long. So you really need to send them to eh@peoriacounty.org. There are multiple people with access to that email address and multiple people checking that email every single day. And so nobody is going to miss an itinerary that is submitted to that email address. Whereas if you're sending it to individuals, it may be missed. Cancellations, we do ask that you let us know when you're canceling an event at least 2 hours in advance. So that's just because we could have somebody scheduled to come out and do your inspection, and it's a waste of time if we send somebody out on like a Saturday to do your inspection and you're not there. Um, so to cancel, if it's during normal business hours that you need to cancel an event, so Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30, you're going to call our main office line, and that's 309-679-6161. If you're canceling after hours, so let's say it's like Saturday morning and you're supposed to be at the Riverfront Market, but there's like a tornado, um, please call and let us know that you're not going to be there. So if you're calling us after hours, you're going to call the main health department line, which is 309-679-6000, and select option 1. And you're going to talk to a real person. You don't want to leave a voice message because it's not guaranteed that it's gotten to the correct people at that point. The other sort of violation that we're seeing is the required paperwork that you're required to have on site during your inspections. You are required to have a copy of your food license, the certified food manager certificate for the person in charge of that event, the training certificate that you'll receive for taking this course, and all your food handler certificates for all other employees. So that may mean keeping multiple copies of individual certifications. So let's say you're also the person in charge of your actual establishment, but you're also in charge of this MET license. So just make sure that you have a copy in both places. One should be at your store and one should be in your binder with the paperwork for this license. This kind of comes up every single year, or at least a couple times. If you're doing more than one event, or if you're having more than one food stand at the same event, this MET license only covers one stand at a time. So let's say in the spring, they are doing the Moss Avenue sales, and you're also doing the Riverfront Market the same day. You can't use the MET license for both locations at the same time. You would have to get the MET license for one location and a separate temporary event license for that second location. Or in the wintertime, we've had this come up with the Peoria Museum's Christmas event, where people have wanted to have more than one stand at that event. Your MET license only covers one stand, and you would have to get a temporary event license for that other stand at the same event. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, this comes up at least a couple times every year. One event, one stand, that's all this license will cover you for. So what are some ways that we enforce the MET license rule? So one is that you will receive monthly inspections at a minimum. We do expect that any violations be corrected immediately. And if those violations cannot be corrected, your license will be suspended. So those are going to be for your food safety violations. So not having hand washing sinks, not having sanitizer, that sort of thing. And like I said, we have not really had food safety issues for any of you guys. So hopefully we can continue that next year. If for some reason we are suspending your license, you can request a reinspection for your next event. And if we receive continued noncompliance, that could result in compliance hearings or license revocation. And that goes for not just the food safety aspects, but also for the administrative and the paperwork side of things. So our enforcement fees, we do charge you anytime that we have to do enforcement, we will charge you follow-up fees. So let's say you don't have your certified food manager certificate or it's not valid. We're going to check that at your next event and we're going to charge you $50 for that, for the first follow-up on it. If we have to do 2 follow-ups, it's 70, 3 is 90. I don't think we've gotten there past the first follow-up for any of you guys. So let's continue that. We don't like to see violations that go uncorrected for that long. If for some reason we have to do a compliance inspection, usually these are only done when there's food safety issues. So again, we've never seen that with this license, so let's keep it up. Those are going to be $150 per inspection. And that's usually going to be where we add inspections on top of your monthly inspection schedule. So that would be maybe we come out and inspect you twice a month or 3 times a month or at every event you do until we get better compliance from you. If we do have to suspend your license, we do charge a license reinstatement fee of $250 that must be paid before we reinstate your license. And probably the best way to know if you're kind of getting in trouble with us is a letter. So if you get a letter in the mail from us, it'll be sent certified to you. That means you're not in compliance anymore, and you're really kind of teetering on losing your good standing. It's the first step that we take to remove you from good standing. I feel like we have actually been sending a lot more emails out to you, especially for itineraries. If we're having to follow up with you every month to get your itinerary, you are probably not in good standing anymore. Um, and if you start seeing those certified letters coming from us in the mail about your itineraries, you're really on the border at that point. So, um, please let us know, where you're going to be operating. Those itineraries are super important. And just like the idea for this training class came from you guys, if you have a better way of collecting itineraries or something that would be easier for you to do to notify us where you're going to be, please let us know. We do take all ideas seriously. And if it's something that we can do that makes your lives easier and makes our lives easier, so we're not continually following up, um, we will take that into consideration and see what we can do about the itineraries. Again, it's just sort of been an ongoing issue for a number of years now. So, any ideas you have, please let us know and we will work on that. If you do have any questions or if you have suggestions for the itinerary issue, you can give us a call. Our main office line is 309-679-6161. And our email again is eh@peoriacounty.org. Don't forget to click the link below in the video description for the post test, and you will be emailed your certificate if you pass.